We are convenience store. Yeah, we're just like a music duo. We've been doing it for a few years. It's like the main thing that we do, I guess.
We make records.
We make records, yeah.
Pretty much that's it.
I don't know, yeah. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, it's kind of hard to talk about. Like,
Yeah, bro, someone asked
doing
me,
the
I'd just be
spiel,
like,
I don't know, yeah.
yeah, I'd just be like, figure it out yourself. I reckon
Yeah.
that's the best way to do it.
Legit, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't like using language like band or like indie band or like whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's just a
It's just like
buzzword.
music, yeah.
Yeah.
We just like make music.
Mm,
Yeah, we just do it.
It's the same-
100%.
Yeah, I feel like before I was kind of as into like the music band scene or whatever, and I wanted to like work on music, I would just say something like, oh, I just do music. It's just like a music project.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like I'm more inclined to like pick a, oh, it's
Box
a
it
band,
off.
or it's a, yeah, to box it off.
Got you.
But
Yeah, because I
it's
guess
just
like
music.
the implications of a band aren't really what we are. Like we just like jam in a room. It'd be
Mm.
cool to jam in a room. But
Yeah, I wish we did.
Yeah, but we don't.
But
we
we're, like,
don't
not
have those
capable of doing that, yeah.
resources at hand.
Yeah,
So yeah, we just
Yeah.
make records.
yeah, 100%. How'd you guys meet?
Primary school,
I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Oh, so
We're just
you've been
like from the
friends.
same area, yeah. So we've been friends for ages.
Oh shit, there you
And we just went to the same primary school and then like same high school, actually same uni as well. We're just like
go. Ah, that's perfect, bro.
we're just like similar interests, I guess. Like, yeah, you know, and it's still like reflecting itself now. Like
Yeah.
it's like both into the same shit.
Cool.
But yeah, so just like same area for years.
And you started making music when?
Good question. I mean, together, I think the first recording is from like what 2013 or something.
Yeah, in like year 8,
Yeah,
we made
yeah.
this like song that was
We're in a horse-themed novelty band called Unstable.
Oh, yeah.
unstable. Yeah,
All
it was like
music
we
was
wanted
horse
to do,
related.
Yeah, we like wanted to do like a busk thing. It's like funny because I feel like the name Unstable sounds like some like metal like
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
part of the
like
joke.
edgy
Some
thing.
screamer,
But
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
but
a
it was just,
comedy
It
project.
was like a rock and roll band. It was
Yeah.
so weird.
But I guess it was like comedic because at that point we were too like insecure to like sincerely like make.
It shows
make
something though,
music.
yeah, because it was a joke. Like the idea was that we'd do like busking and stuff. We didn't ever do it because we were just too like scared of it or something. But the idea was that we'd busk and we'd busk like wearing the horse masks.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I feel like
10
that's
years.
so,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
'cause you know that was like a meme for a bit. Everyone
Yeah,
on
yeah.
kind of
Text,
YouTube
yeah.
was doing like horse
yeah.
mask or whatever. But yeah, then we just didn't do it. But we recorded like one song with our friend
Yeah.
James. So it was me, Nick, and James, and then
Yeah.
James was like playing drums. I was the singer, and then I played guitar or bass or something, and he
Yeah.
was guitar.
Now at that point we couldn't afford a bass, so it was just.
I think it was just two guitars.
Yeah, it was just two guitars.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then we just did it at James's place. And it was like legit so funny. We recorded this song called Insane Man, and it was like we had the microphone like on the floor.
It was
in
a
the center of the
gaming
room.
gaming headset. Razer,
Yeah, and it
Razer
was
gaming
legit like
headset.
the hardest I've ever laughed at like anything in my life. When I just like looked at James and we saw that we just like looked at the like Razer gaming headset on the floor.
Glowing
just
green.
being like yeah, like with the green Razer logo just like pulsing on the side.
Yeah.
And we're just like, what are we doing? Like this is the worst like shit ever.
Bro, that's, you
That
gotta
was
start
pretty good
somewhere,
though,
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. I can relate to that. Just making videos.
Yeah.
Like when you look back at it now, you're probably like, oh shit.
You're like, that's crazy that
Yeah.
No, it kind of like flips around. Like a few years ago, it was like, oh, that was cringe. But then once you get even like further into it, it's like, nah, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool we're doing that back then.
Oh, for sure, bro.
Yeah.
It's not, but do you feel like it's still you? Or do you feel like it's some other person or some other version of you
I
that's
think
like
it's-
long gone?
There's some seeds to the current project that was still around in that. Like, I guess the recording style is still kind of similar, just like
lo-fi,
doing it
man.
yourself.
yeah. The Razer was the first lo-fi recording.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Razer headset.
Even then, we refused to go to like a normal studio.
Bro, that's the move, man.
Because like we could have done, you know, there's all that stuff like hard rock
Yeah,
schools.
we're always skeptical. Like, I think in our generation, like rock music got like super commodified, and they'd have like these like, oh, like rock school pay like
It's like pay to win
$1,000
rock
for
and
like
roll,
2
like-
weeks, and you like
It's
have like a
you
rock
pay.
scene.
It's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember like
It's like
some people would do
microtransactions.
it when you were like younger, but we were always a bit like, oh, it doesn't sound there's something off. We weren't sure
Oh,
at the
yeah.
time what
Yeah.
it was, but it just sounded like
Not
a bit
genuine.
off to us. Yeah,
Yeah. And then how'd you get around that? You guys made your own studio.
yeah. We just
Basic.
like started recording. Like it was really bad,
Mm.
and then it like gradually got better.
Yeah. I mean, for people that are watching this and want to become or get into a position where they can make music, do you have any advice, tips that you can give for starting out?
Ah, it's cliche,
I don't
but
know,
like
'cause
just
look,
do it.
Yeah, that's legit
Yeah.
the best one.
yeah. I think the hardest thing is always like motivation.
Mm.
Even now, it's like it's hard to always be like,
'Cause
oh, let's actually do it. Like, let's
it always sounds
get
worse than
in
what's
there,
in your head.
make it.
You know, it's never gonna like be what you kind of want it to be when you're like planning it. But once you get over that and you just accept what comes out at the end, then it's like, oh,
I think the other
Pretty
thing is
good.
like, yeah, like having some standard in your mind of like how much effort is like enough, like, because you could be like, oh, this is like when we started, we made like one song that took like a year or something, you know, whatever. This
Yeah.
is like not when we started, but like time to enjoy.
The
it.
first song, you mean?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the first song that we like released.
Yeah.
And then thinking back about that, you know, we thought like, oh, that's, you know, I guess this kind of was normal because we're still learning the process and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like
Yeah,
that's a
sometimes
benchmark
you
in
like
your
trick
head.
yourself into thinking that just like working is like productive, even if
Beneficial.
you're just like repeating the same. Like we would just do the same things over and over again, just to have this like illusion that we were like
Yeah,
grinding
you can
really
kind of lie to
hard.
yourself and think that you're doing
Even
something
though
good.
like realistically, we probably should have just like moved on to another song. But
Mm.
we weren't confident in our abilities yet. We were like, oh, no, it's gonna be better. It can be better.
I think that's the main thing though is it's such a learning process like, because like that whole period of us doing the same thing like over and over again to like work on one song, where it kind of feels like wasted time. I
No,
actually
that
feel
was
like we
good.
learned things from that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of the thing. I think it's just like putting in that motivation and that time, and then realizing like, oh, I kind of get it more now, and then it just grows in itself or something. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you go about promoting your art today? And do you take into consideration the marketing side of the music, or are you guys more focused on the creative kind of execution of it?
Yeah, I guess since we're like independent and whatnot. Oh, we are signed to Trash Day Records. That is an indie label in like
Oh, you guys
DIY
signed?
label. Yeah,
It's
a DIY.
honestly, yeah, it's like a
label in
DIY. Yeah,
America.
but shout out Trash
They're really
Day.
dope though. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like good guys. But
Trash
yeah,
Day.
since we're like independent, we're like obligated to do the marketing ourselves. But it's not our thing at all.
You like need to do it though.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
like,
otherwise no one hears it.
you have to do it, but it always feels a bit wrong. I don't know. I
Yeah,
have a
just-
hard time getting my head around it.
Just foreign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just you kind of like the futility of it. Like you put all this work into like sending emails out to people, to get like a press thing done, and like some of the press that we get's like dope, and it's like
Yeah,
really talented.
the press we
writers that
get's
write
great.
awesome stuff. But then there's some that you see that's kind of just like, what's the point of this? Like, does anyone
Yeah.
read this magazine? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's kind of
yeah.
fake.
Yeah.
But like that's apparently what people do. Like people still do that. So it's just a matter of us like working out what the promo, like how to do it. You know, because we've spent
Yeah.
so much time working on just music that
Sometimes
we
you get the
don't even know how to
vibe
do
that
it.
like what's being told to like the indie artists is kind of like a hamster wheel or something. It's like just a trick to make you feel productive. And then like, you know, people actually in the industry have these like different resources.
Yeah,
and
that they like
techniques.
keep, like
Yeah, no,
And
totally,
we're like,
that's
and
the
we're,
feeling,
and
yeah.
yeah, trying to work out like, are we doing it right or not?
It's like a mind game. You're like constantly like, are people lying to you
Yeah.
with like this being a good promo option?
But then you're like, oh, why do I even care about promo? That's like, it's such a seller thing. And you're like,
Yeah,
But then you're like, you kind of want an audience, you know?
yeah, it's a balance,
yeah.
like all things. But if it was me, I'd be like trying to get to the money as quick as
Well, I think
possible.
we're in a way like a bit deluded. We just assume that the more work we put into music,
Yeah.
the more it'll like just convert to industry kudos, like chops, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I think there's some truth to that. But I don't know. Even if it is a delusion, like I feel like what I care most about is just the art and the music.
No, but I don't think it's delusional. Just think that to like put all your effort into the art.
And then just see if that can kind of snowball into something.
Yeah,
People
I
care
mean,
about it. I don't know.
I feel like when you live your life, there's pathways that you can choose to go down, and then some of that is free will, some of that is fate. You know what I mean? Like you have the direction to move forward, but you don't necessarily know what's gonna happen. You know, you're choosing your
Yeah.
path. So I feel like if you choose the path that you put it all into the music, like 100% of it, maybe it'll never happen. Maybe it will. But if you put like all your energy into doing the marketing, the music will be dead. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, I feel like the best way to
balance.
do it, or the thing that I would look into the most,
Yeah.
is just doing physical gigs. Like, have you guys sourced any gigs yet? Like, 'cause I would
We-
rock up for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We play gigs not as regularly as other bands though, just because I don't know. Like
Just get on the email, bro. Just like spam.
No, it's not.
it's
It's not
not
about trying to get
getting
things. Like
it.
we could get them if we
Ah.
like had the effort to like get a band together, which we're currently doing it.
yeah,
But
just the
we're just
recording is far more gratifying.
Yeah,
for
like
us.
we feel so much better when we like make a record, and like make a song, and like produce that and everything. Like to me, that's just like that's the art form in a way. Like that's the space that I feel like kind of most like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Whereas not to say that the live shows are like derivative or like false or something, but it's like I think it's just a different thing, and we think of that as like, oh, okay, there's live, and then there's like actually making recordings.
Yeah. I'm calling it from the aspect of sorry to cut you off, but I'm calling it from the aspect of like networking, because that's the thing
Well, like that's and it's definitely like we've already had that just through just being involved in other bands who like do play live a lot more.
Yeah.
Just being aware of like, oh, okay, that's how that works. Like that's sweet, and we'd love to do it more, but we just like.
Having said that, the current live show we're working on, it's up there. Like we've kind of leveled up the live show a bit. So
Yeah.
definitely check out the next gigs we do if you're
Yeah, no,
interested.
for sure, bro.
Yeah.
I'll come film it, and you guys can post it.
Dope,
Yeah,
dope.
that'd be mint.
Yeah, that would say so.
In terms of like band, you need like background people or like people playing instruments or some shit like that.
Yeah,
That's
we've
what we
got
wanna do,
like
is, yeah.
a full lineup kind of.
Oh, okay, so like.
That's the thing is,
upcoming,
we're still like planning it because we've done shows in like different iterations of the band and stuff
Yeah.
with like, you know, like drummer, basses, like
Yeah.
everything. But we want to get that happening again. So it's like, because I feel as if like just doing a duo show that's just us would be it feels a little bit uneventful. Or I think it just comes down to how many people are on stage. Sometimes like, if you're doing a show, we could do a duo show as like a support act, like the
Yeah.
first in the bill or something.
Yeah.
And we've done that before. We
Yeah.
did a whole bunch of shows at the start of this year that were like.
We did like improv, kind of
Experimental
like
ones.
post-rock
Yeah.
shows, which was actually really fun.
And that was really gratifying. Like that was an example of like converting the way we feel about making records and like recording and stuff to like the live space where it's like
Yeah.
that's actually what we like. That's just kind of true, and it's like expressing like who we actually are,
Yeah.
rather than being like, oh, are we a band now? Oh, okay, true. Like let's put on the band hat and like
Yeah,
play
yeah.
shows if it's like, you know.
You
But
really
like I think
rock
that's still
out
cool
then.
though.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like I think ultimately I really want to do that.
Yeah, it's more
Like
like
that, I
I
think.
think it's more that like we want to do justice to the recordings, and unless we get like a lineup where everybody is like really dedicated, it kind of feels a bit false to us. But like when we were doing like the shows, just the two of us, like improvising, doing like these free jams, since there was nothing to compare it to, there was no benchmark. It was like what we were doing on stage was like totally true, and so we felt pretty good about that.
Yeah. If you guys are leading some pretty like I know a cool act. I think they're out of Box Hill.
I was
So
at
they- Narala Grove.
yeah, we played
Yeah.
with them actually.
Oh, you did? When?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's so funny.
Like maybe
Was that
six-
ages
It's
ago?
like
or-
January or February or something.
Oh no shit!
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
those
played
are,
one of our improv shows
hell yeah.
on their bill.
Because
It was
we're mates
really
with
fun.
Luca.
Oh yeah, so am I.
Basically,
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
our friend. No shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So he knows our friend Hugo really well. And
Bro,
yeah,
Luca's
he's
like
an
a
awesome
low-key-
guy.
Yeah, sick
Just like a
guys.
social butterfly, knows everyone
Yeah, yeah.
somehow. Yeah.
But yeah, he's just like dope guy. And then he was like, "Oh, do you want to support us?" And we were like, "Oh, sweet," because we can do these things that we love doing, which is like just me and Nick. And then we had our friend Harry as well.
Yeah, from Masatui, one of
Who's-
the
yeah,
one of
he's
the
a
best
dude as
bands
well.
in the world actually. So yeah.
Low-key.
In the Southern Hemisphere.
Shout out Masatui.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's dope. Definitely be keen. You guys just, I reckon, email the best venues and just see what happens.
Yeah, I think like
No, we'll do a headline
I've got
show at
like
some point,
November,
yeah.
December. I think we're gonna do a run of gigs. So we'll be pretty
Hectic.
like well thought out.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're like, I recommend checking them out.
For sure,
The,
yeah.
the listeners, the viewers, if you
Yeah.
want.
We've already got one in December, but I forget. It's like at Fairfield
Fairfield
Amphitheatre.
Amphitheatre.
But
yeah.
so that's
Oh,
kind of what
mint,
we're
yeah.
planning for ultimately. But we need to like I want to actually make it not just like we do a gig and then we just disappear. And it's like
Yeah.
back to the vault. Like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like keep it actually happening. You know?
Yeah, 100%. No, that's cool. Aside from music, do you guys balance your lives with other stuff? Do you completely focus on the craft?
I wish
How do you
I
make
could
your bread?
exclusively do the music. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a job as well. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, we have like
Just
you
like a
know,
randomized job.
tokenistic jobs, but they're not like careers or anything.
Yeah.
Like, music is the career ideally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like sometimes I feel a bit like self-conscious about not doing anything else, but then it's like I don't really enjoy doing anything else. you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't really like want to play like golf or something. you know?
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I'm dealing with that as well, bro. Like not the self-conscious, it's just like people telling you that you can't do something.
Well, it's not even that. It's more just like I don't. It feels kind of like right to have a balanced life. Like intuitively, it feels right. But having said that, I
And
think
it's
what
just part of like
yeah.
work culture. Like people.
Oh
they make
yeah,
it out
true.
like your job is this like one little partition in your life, and then you do other things, and you do your golf or whatever.
Yeah,
And it's like I don't know. I think it's like it's weird to feel like we have to balance like
it's
music
a
with,
weird
like,
one because
jobs.
like the music is treated like as a career. It just we don't
There's like a threshold.
we
to
can't
it.
make money from it. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like
yeah.
I suppose that's the most like telling part of having a career, like you make money from it, but we put all the energy, like, you know, like some like lawyer, like banker would put into their job,
Yeah,
into the
exactly.
music.
Yeah.
You just don't have the
No
like,
return, yeah.
the checks or like the social status.
I think in a way that I kind of
Yeah.
take offense.
Yeah.
Like the way that people like make music out to be a career is it's often like it's not a particularly productive career for so many musicians, in the sense that it's just like hard to make it and everything.
Yeah.
And it's a job where you're being exploited all the time by people in the industry. So it's like the presentation of music, of like being a musician as this careerified thing that's like not artistry, or it's not artistic anymore or something. It's like I feel as if like that's kind of, I don't know, like that feels weird to like
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it feels. There's always like a guilt to actually like implementing optics of it being like careerist optics of being like, oh, this is our job, like support. Like we like never do that, but in terms of our like use of time, it's very much like a job.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah.
100%. What kind of energy goes into making like a single song or a whole project?
Just like
Like, what's the process of it?
there's no real process. It's just like if we have an idea.
So
It's just
different every time?
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it's kind of like fate in a way, like you were saying before. It just like certain seeds, like either like a whole song or just like, you know, a little like motif in the song just like sticks out, and it's
Got
like,
you.
oh yeah, we'll make a song out of that,
Yeah.
and then make a few demos, record it, mix it.
Yeah, it's like usually we'd have some kind of demo of a track that like Nick wrote or something, and then or like something like that.
Like, I think we're very
or like we
process
both
based, like
kind of
just
co-wrote
like
it or something.
Yeah.
work on something,
And then we'll have that down,
and,
like just whatever amounts from that, and just like a lot of the time, like
Yeah.
how do we make
there's
this?
often ideas though, like we'll have some kind of influence. Yeah, it's not always like we have some idea of it. It's kind of like I think we're very process based. Like we just like work on something, and like just whatever amounts from that. A lot of the time, like
Yeah.
there's often ideas though, like we'll have some kind of influence or like reference in our mind of like this is what it should be.
Got
But
you.
but yeah,
Yeah.
the actual process of doing it's usually pretty relaxed. I
It's
don't know.
it's
We're
really
just like chilling and just
and it's just
working
like it's one of those things that's hard to kind of like verbalize. It's just like
Yeah, yeah.
if the idea works, it's like oh, that worked,
Mm.
and if it like doesn't work, it's not like doom and gloom. It's just like oh well, we like a lot of the time it's kind of like a war of attrition where it is like hours of just like trying random approaches, getting nowhere, and then eventually it's like we got it, and we just move on to the next
Yeah.
one. You know, it's not like glamour. It's not like, you know, in those like biopics of like bands where they're in the studio and so
Like
plays
the
like the
Beatles.
Yeah,
riff.
keep playing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the
Yeah.
one. It's like oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like
not like
Queen,
that.
the coins on the
Yeah,
drum
yeah.
or some shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Or like there's that video of like Angelo Baldamenti, and he's like,
Oh yeah, I
and
see
she
her.
was like, I see her. And it's like, yeah, so not like that. But I don't know. I think we're still like working it out. Like we don't.
Yeah, we're not,
by
like-
no means like we don't know how to do
Don't
it. Like,
don't like copy us at all because you probably.
I wouldn't even say we're good. We're not very like we try to be productive when we're like working on a song, but
Mm.
I don't know. We're like I get distracted pretty easily.
Yeah, we're like not really. Like.
Bro, you gotta fake it till you make it, man.
But in like
Content
a
without-
dumb way, it's like I almost like see that as like part of the process. Like the distraction is like I don't know. So there's something meaningful about that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I don't know.
for
I
sure.
can't really articulate it because
Yeah.
I'm yeah.
You mean you kind of mean like the nothing between the somethings, right?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
just the fact that if you're thinking about how people make music like these days,
Yeah.
you know, some people, you know, I guess you get the idea of like contemporary musicianship. That's like a bedroom producer, like whatever, is like someone who's like on the bus listening to their mix, whatever, da da da.
5 beats a day for 3 songs.
Like that
yeah.
kind of thing where
Yeah.
someone's just grinding on a laptop, whatever, and it's like our version of that is like we're working on a song for a bit in like the basement, and then like we're like drinking some food. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of inside of this weird like world of phones and like going to the shops and having to like
Yeah, live.
get food and live and just
Yeah.
like, but not even live, like the kind of dumb ways that you just waste time
Yeah.
in your day.
It's like since we don't go to a
Like doing that a
studio,
lot.
the actual like
I don't know.
our like little studio is kind of like a journal or a diary in a sense where I'm not too concerned if we like skip days of not doing anything, because a lot of the time just like the random things on the street, just like seeing like random people walking or like watching like a movie or something, that'll directly inform the next session. Like I'll be like, oh, I saw this the
Yeah.
other day. Let's put this in the sun. We have the freedom to do that because we record everything ourselves. It's not like
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You're
not like
we only have 5
pre-planned.
days of studio time or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
I think it's an easy kind of cop out though as well to be like,
Oh, yeah.
but that's totally
Definitely.
true though. It's totally true.
It's just like everything.
It's like with anything
moderation.
to do with art though. It's like just the stuff around the art is always like so integral to the process.
Oh,
of
for
making
sure.
it, like,
For sure, bro. Yeah. I'm really interested in the performance aspect of things. So I'd be interested to see like the live shows and stuff. Hey, you
Yeah.
guys want to bring like something different to
yeah.
a normal live gig?
Oh yeah, it's like what we're currently going for is like a combination of like really thrashy rock, like Modest Mouse, mixed with like John Hopkins. He's like this electronic producer mixed with
The guy
like,
from the university.
Dirty Three, this like Melbourne band.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, but yeah,
So
like-
those three like elements really shouldn't work together. But our like mission at the moment is if we can combine the three of them, it could be an interesting show rather than just like
I feel like
rocking out.
Dirty 3 is definitely a good influence because it's like, just like really honest, like, and that's what makes, you know, like old like Nick Cave shows where you see that he's like full on going for it and he's
Yeah.
like screaming and he's like interacting with the front of this audience and something like that where people are really in it and they like really commit to it and it's
Yeah.
almost like a bit humiliating almost, but
Yeah.
like in the best of ways.
What do you mean? Elaborate.
Like someone like as in they're so
Oh, as in
committed
for
to
the
the performance.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
That it's like it's kind of like how do you speak to that guy after the show? That's sometimes how we feel. Like we'll do a show. This is like when we were doing those weird like experimental ones or whatever. Like and we'd afterwards like I'm kind of like that
Yeah.
was like pretty extra on stage. Like,
It's
I don't know how
you
drunk
kind of just
people
want to immediately leave the venue.
But I definitely feel. But it's like honest though. Like when we're on stage, it's like true. I don't know.
yeah. Truth is the word we always throw out when we're like,
It's like the test.
It's
like the
kind
litmus
of yeah.
test.
I'm not
Sorry,
sure what
thanks.
it means, but if we're like writing a song or like performing, we'll just be like, wait, was that true?
Yeah.
And if like everyone's like, oh, that's true, then we're like, yeah.
I fuck with that.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of something to do with, like, if you have an idea, you can do, like, a test of, like, is this honest or am I trying to, like, just do something that's kind of disingenuous to fit some idea of what I think I should be doing.
Or people
whatever
want, yeah.
People want, yeah.
Yeah, got
Yeah.
Same
but
with YouTube
can't
almost.
tell. Yeah, totally. It'd just be the same.
Yeah.
But I think YouTube's different because you're so immersed in a algorithmic system. I guess we are as well with music, but
Yeah,
you're so immersed in some system where you have to cater for, like,
Yeah.
views and, like,
Yeah.
likes and algorithm.
That's why I've circumvented it with the streaming thing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get as much attention as you get, like just dumb
Or
attention.
just kind of do a dumb, yeah, it's like,
It's
you
like
can
a
do a pump and dump of
exactly,
just like crap
exactly,
content and
yeah.
then come back with like,
well, it's just a
here's
different
what I
channel.
want to make. Yeah.
So like you
Oh, true,
filter it. It's like
channel.
the TikTok,
Yeah.
all the dumb shit is the top of the filter, and people who actually have the brain capacity to like
Watch
enjoy
your
it.
actual content or enjoy your actual content.
Yeah, they'll find it. You know what I
good
mean?
news for this interview. It's going to be very low threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what we have to say. Yeah.
yeah.
No, but yeah, with shows and stuff, it's like there's a lot of shows that I see, and there's some fantastic musicians in Melbourne, but I mean, there's some that I
Yeah.
see, and I'm like, I'm kind of just, there's not a feeling that the person's like totally committed to like the performance of whatever they're saying or whatever. And I don't mean to say that that we could definitely achieve that, but I think that's the ideal, right? Like I feel like I want to go
Yeah.
on stage and be like, we're presenting something really like honest and sincere, and someone watching it kind of connects to it
Yeah.
in this like kind of profound way where it's like, oh shit, I didn't expect to see that today.
Yeah.
That was really interesting and it's made me think of something.
Yeah, and you
it's like-
remember it as well.
and it's really memorable
Yeah.
and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll ever get there, but it's like a nice.
That's the
Just like,
aim.
it's a
That's
nice
the-
horizon
that's
to
the
always
thing
be
to
like,
shoot for,
yeah.
yeah.
I think you will if you put enough time and effort into it.
Yeah.
But I think just the acts that we really like, and some of the best shows that I've seen, like I see it and I'm just like, you know, it's more than just playing the music. It's like there's something really expressive about it, and the music's just the medium.
It's the channel.
It's the channel.
Get you. That's fresh.
But it's also, I feel like with music though, like music is like, it's a medium, but it is like meaning in its own way. It's like, I think about that a lot, like, it's like the fusion of like medium and meaning. So like when you perform music, it's not like, it's a bunch of signifiers on a stage of like these sounds, you know, mean this thing. It's like, that meaning is like so wrapped up in the sounds that you're making. You know, it's like,
Tangled,
it's just
got
very
you.
different to like other art forms in that way. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the immediacy, which I like about
well, I
it.
think it's just the way that sound works. So it's so like
Yeah, man.
ephemeral, and it's like you just hear it, and it only exists in the present moment.
Yep. Yep.
It's not like deferred.
Yeah.
But they still find a way to sodomize it, you know? Just getting
Yeah,
shit on
it's
repeat,
like-
streaming and
yeah.
type, like...
Just like fuck it up.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
if you go to like, I know this is some weird reference, but like in the Bible it says what the first thing was like the word of God, like the sound, like just literal,
Like
what do you call it?
the phonos, like
Yeah, that
Yeah.
stuff. It's like the first thing that you do when you get born is just
to
like-
make noises.
yeah, legit. It's like
No, but yeah, it's like it's kind of random as well, but it's like, yeah, I think a lot about, like, I don't know how I got to this from the live show, but it's like this is something that like Derrida writes about a lot, but like the there's like a Plato thing that he like writes about the way that the invention of like writing was this like thing that happened in like Egypt, whatever. It's like the idea in this like dialogue that Plato did, and it's like speech came like before writing, and then writing's like invented and brought to this like Egyptian king, and he's like, oh, is this like a good invention? Because if it's a good one, he gets to, I don't know, win a prize or some shit.
he gets 3 shekels,
Gets some coins. Whatever.
and less whips.
Yeah, and it's like the king is like, nah, it's actually a bad invention because it defers meaning to this like exterior.
That is really interesting.
Prosthetic thing that you don't have control over, like your agency over writing is like lost. Whereas like speech, we're here right now, we can like defend ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Or at least
Yeah.
the message is clearer.
yeah, and it's even like metaphysically, like the meaning is so much more immediate. Like it's in your throat. Like
Got you.
as I talk, it's like vibrating. and
Okay,
shit, like,
yeah. There's other like sensory experiences.
Yeah,
that
that,
you-
like associated with it. And I guess like, yeah, like speech is sound, writing is like vision, right? You like look at it. There's something about sound, I guess maybe that's more immediate as well. I don't know.
I think
but-
so.
Yeah, I suppose that's
But I think,
why
yeah.
it's like the discipline that like everyone's into. You know, there are some people who like don't watch like films, or they don't like get paintings or like whatnot. They don't read books, but like I think most people are into music.
I would
Which
say.
like kind of validates it as a form.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing as well, is that, yeah, it's like in terms of just that meaning and the medium being so much the same thing, it's like you could show most people the same piece of music, like Bach, cello suite 1 in G, or like whatever it's called, and it's like they hear that like do 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 do, and it has the same effect on like everyone, because it's like, maybe not everyone, but you know, there's some sort of sense of like music doesn't require analysis or anything,
Yeah.
or like second order thinking, where like if you read a book or something, it's different.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, I don't know.
It was like there's like when you hear, I don't know if you guys are into this, like you talk about like consciousness of like, if you think about like a Ram Dass or like a Alan Watts, you ever heard of those characters like this, talking about like
Yeah.
the consciousness of humanity and its, you know, and its transcendence throughout, or its evolution throughout time. It's like they talk about when you introduce that, like you were talking about the Egyptian, the script shit, when you introduce that type of recording of history, historical events, things you say, things you see, that's kind of like the fall, or the beginning of the fall, or a trough in conscious, or our conscious experience of the world.
Yeah, totally.
Because like a lot of it's kind of held in something similar. This is the thought behind it, but
No, I
like,
think I know what you mean, yeah.
it's held in something similar to like a hive mind, or like a conscious cloud of just information that everybody kind of understands.
Well, it's
And
like,
then-
yeah.
Go continue.
Well, just like all of like like as soon as you introduce like the representation of the thing, and that those representations become like mythic and symbolic and communal, it's like there's some sort of world of meaning that's kind of like virtual and like doesn't actually exist in like reality. And it's just like everyone's like sharing these ideas about something. I guess that's just what myth is or whatever.
Yeah, or
But,
at least
like,
our reality that we
yeah.
experience.
But then like there's definitely, like I love that point that it's like the more that you invest in that like mythic world of like representation, but I mean like be that like this is like in news media or in like,
Interesting, yeah.
you know, TikTok or like Instagram, like these
With the virtual
these
plane.
ways that we interact with things that aren't like this table or, you know, like actual, or like this conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, the more that you invest in that, the more that you lose something of like, you know, like
Complexity.
normal, yeah, kind of conscious reality, whatever. Like,
Got you. Yeah, people would call that like 2D and 3D. Like
Yeah.
like the 2D world is like just like that, and then we're
It's just the
obviously
3D world.
inhabiting the third dimension. Eddie
Yeah.
Bravo. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. So, are there any formative events that you would kind of characterize as becoming or being the most formative in your musical career, as like up till now, or just even in artistry or personal growth type stuff?
I don't know, yeah.
I don't know, I guess
I can't pinpoint like specific moments or like for me.
in terms of like the career, once we actually like released a song, that was a bit of a game changer, because until then you say you do music, but there's no like,
Yeah, it doesn't actually exist. Right?
yeah, there's like you've got like no way to kind of like back it. I'm not sure if you'll ever release anything. So yeah, once you like release one thing, it's like there's much more confidence that comes with it. Yeah.
I think there's that. Yeah, I think like just the like sort of each time that we put out a song, there was like some
Milestone, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a staking time. It's like
Yeah, that's fresh. That's every time I do one of these.
Yeah.
Same thing. I like to call these interviews or podcasts, or whatever, like time capsules. Because then you can.
yeah, because you look back at it and you're like, wow, that's what I was doing when I was like that age, or this. That's what I thought was meaningful.
Yeah, that's usually like the one question I ask in every single interview. It's like, because of the fact that this is a time capsule, you will be looking at this 5, 10, 15, 25 years in the future.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, or even just someone. You ever seen that movie, Ready Player One? Where he's.
No,
you ever seen it? Okay, well, it's basically a movie about the metaverse, right? About there's like this virtual reality, and people are. There's like this egg hunt or whatever for the person who made basically like the Zuckerberg or whatever of the metaverse. And they're looking through the years, through like, they're looking and they could see the room that this was recorded in because of the fact of this, or even just somebody's conscious recollection of it. They've been able to reconstruct the scene. And you can look at that and think, damn, I either changed a lot, or that kid had some knowledge, or like those kids had some knowledge. You know what I'm saying? There's like two
That's
ways
really
you can
cool
go
way of
about it.
thinking about it too, yeah.
It's like, do you think you'd have any message given that for yourself, for your future audience members, for people that are just reviewing? Like, can you imagine like there's some like little AI robot or something, some like character that's just like walking around right now in the future that we have no. You gotta watch the movie. It's a crazy movie.
Yeah, so it's like they could go like to this time capsule like world. And
Yeah.
see it,
Yeah, because the premise is they're like Easter egg hunting. They're trying to find the keys to the metaverse or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're looking through, like, the keys are hidden in the past.
So they have to go and like.
And they go and review the footage to look for clues
time
about.
capsule past these.
Yeah. It's just a cool like little theory, or like a little.
I don't mean that. Yeah, like thought experiment.
Yeah.
Because I find that really interesting that you said, you know, in the future you might look back and be like, oh wow, there was like something interesting that I used to think. Because I think of myself as like often just constantly growing. I don't know. Like if I ever look at the past, I'm like, I cringe.
No, I kind of used to. Well, yeah, I used to be like that. I like looking at like my younger self. Now I've kind of like flipped, and I think there's sort of like. So I used to like always be like, oh, so pretentious, you know, so snobby. But I think that's kind of a virtue to being pretentious as a youngster, as long as it isn't like a means of superiority. Like if you're actually just like kind of interested in, I guess, like grander ideas as a kid. It can be pretty inspiring, especially if you're kind of like kind of like lonely. You're in like the suburbs where there's no like culture at all. If you like cling to those like pretentious like notions, it's pretty fun.
I think what counts as pretentious is just a matter of like opinion though. It's like
you
can.
Well, I
as you
think
age,
there's
you
been
can
a
look back and
conflation
change
between being pretentious and like anti-intellectual in like culture. Like I think it's
what do you mean,
like people get accused of being pretentious if they try to like bring up, you know,
if they're intellectual, I don't
like an idea that
whatever.
isn't the most.
Oh, like people like the ego gets triggered, and they feel like you're being trying to be superior to me or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's even more pervasive than that. It's like people are afraid of ideas and stuff because it's.
That's so
I'm
true.
kind of off on a tangent, but
That's
you know
so
what I mean.
true.
Like,
No, that's 100% true.
but like because it serves the interests of like capital. And,
Yeah.
like, powerful. People. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll always be those people, bro. Like it
Yeah.
starts when you're young, and then it just keeps going, and that's what I'm trying to like break through every single time. Even just trying to do like a YouTube channel.
These things where it's like just talking to people and stuff. Like,
Yeah, because that's what I would have these conversations regardless if I was to meet you
totally,
guys.
yeah.
Like, and we were just like gonna kick it anyway. So it's like might as well get on record because,
yeah.
bro, imagine if you have a conversation in, I don't know. I know the Beatles used to like record their sets, and did you see their remake on Netflix? They
Actually missed it.
audio
I really wanted to
recorded
watch it and I saved it.
every single session, or a lot of the sessions they did.
Back.
And then they,
Yeah.
using the audio,
Yeah.
they got all the fake actors, like the lookalikes, and reconstructed the whole scene, and you get to look at it as you.
Crazy, yeah.
So imagine if you had a whole video of like the Beatles talking. Yeah, it's a
like
weird
that's
comparison.
The Ready Player One,
interesting.
like time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's what I'm always thinking. Like, imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people are just against imagination because it doesn't make them any money. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. The thing that you are looking for is the art form. You don't get paid any money for this, but you're putting all your time into it nonetheless. Why? People can't understand that. People on top of the corporate hierarchies can't understand that. and they're scared of it as a result because they can't
Legit,
understand
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the
And
like,
it's like why do people go to like university or something to like study these things? It's like,
mm.
it's
Yeah,
like I think the stigmatization of that is like something that's ultimately serving the interests of like powerful
big pharma.
people, big pharma, yeah, whatever the
Yeah.
is, yeah. I don't know, but yeah.
Nah, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Don't come kill me. But yeah, like even just defer, because I just deferred uni this semester. Even just doing that, there's just triggered a lot of fear in my circle, like around me. It's like, you can't do that. What are you doing, bro?
Yeah, it's like, what about you?
Yeah, you trying to succeed or something? What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
how do you deal with those kind of? Do you have people like that around you, like setbacks? How do you deal with them?
Really? I don't know.
Yeah, not really these days. I guess like back when we were in the stage of like hadn't released anything, there were
Yeah, like earlier on,
there
there
was
was
some
a
like
feeling of like,
naysayers, I
it's
guess.
like, why are you taking this so seriously? It's like,
Mm.
where's the music?
Mm.
It's still kind of, I don't know. I think maybe I've like bottled that up, and I carry that with me sometimes. This feeling of like, is this real? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But I think underneath all of that, like, it's just a passing feeling. Like, at my core, it's like, I'm like, no, this is important. I don't know. For me, I mean,
Exactly. Well,
it's
that's
important for
the
me,
only
yeah.
person that you. That's the only thing you control in this life.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
your experience. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
people are so used to trying to like control other people's experiences and shit.
Mm.
It's like the second you break free of that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Stuff. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older or something, but it's like there's things that I legit do not.
Yeah. Like,
I'm like tapped out.
I feel like
of
I've
TikTok
aged out of
culture,
the new wave of
of
technology.
like meme creation.
Like
yeah.
we were around for like like the pre like 2012 like shift to like social like back when like websites, and then we like moved on to social media with everyone else.
Yeah.
But I think we kind of aged out of TikTok.
I think it's really. I'm grateful for being born in the time period that I was, because you didn't grow up with the whole.
Yeah.
Like kids growing up with it. Like I got a brother
No,
that's
yeah,
5 or
it's
6.
like-
I remember being like
Crazy.
7 and just like to kill time going on Wikipedia.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
Just like reading
just
stuff.
reading like nonsense. But like in hindsight, it's kind of like obviously like Wikipedia is still it's like cursory knowledge, but it's still
Yeah,
cool to
yeah.
like learn some things because like the internet was too slow to like do anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, 100%. But it's just like it's just constant bombardment with stuff now, and now like because the whole I guess mindset or idea of it is that most parents have to both be working, or one
Yeah,
if it's a
yeah,
single
yeah,
parent or whatever has to
definitely.
be working, and then your kid is like the teachings that the child receives is either from school, which is state owned, and then government, and then the internet, which is who knows what's
But it's
going on.
like most of it's corporatized and privately owned
Exactly,
and everything.
exactly.
Yeah. It's just
It was just the same as like generation before being raised by like TV, and you just like
Mm.
you get all those that's like it's like a cringe reference, but like Fight Club. That
Yeah,
movie is
Nah,
like
it's a mint movie.
that's
Come
all
on.
that's all about like
That's a good movie.
raised by TV and ads.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
then like what the ads promise you
We
as a
work
kid,
jobs we hate.
like never happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there is some merit into that, and I guess just like TikTok is, or just like social media in general, is like a personalized like
Mm.
just
Well, it's
like a
worse.
standardized
and it's
version
a
of
lot
that.
worse, I think.
Because you get the ads catered to yourself rather
It's
than
like
like what the
new
ad man,
logic,
the Don
yeah.
Draper type, like assumed you'd want. It's actually what you want,
Mm.
Yeah.
which is kind
Well,
of
it's not just what you
terrifying.
want. It's the technology to cultivate what your desires actually are, and then giving you what you want.
So what's
Both
the,
better,
what's the,
so it's like
the Giannis machine?
but it's legit.
Desire
That. It's like
machine.
there's this like Greek author who's like an economist, Yanis Varoufakis, who's like he was like the state
Yeah, he was
He's in the
the
Minister of
finance
Economics
minister.
in
Yeah,
Greece.
in Greece.
right after the GFC.
He did the TF2 hat economy.
Yeah, so he was also hired by Valve.
And
to
he
do the
lived in
hats.
Sydney for like a few years,
Yeah.
so he's like.
Bro, I used to play
kinda
TF2.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Feels
It's a
elite.
fresh game.
Yeah, fucking
we
hell.
I
used to
mean,
play.
Spy.
Spy, yeah, fucking
yeah.
oath. I just wigged it. I just went
I
on
was
2
a sniper
points.
because
Yeah,
it was the
same.
Australian.
Yeah.
I was like, that's dope.
Yeah.
We met this guy who was like from Scotland once, and he was like, guys, I used to play TF2, and I was like a demo man. we were like legit trust. Of course, you were the demo man.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyway, this Giannis guy, he's written all these books about kind of like quite like progressive economic theory and just like thinking about like it's kind of more than that. It's like even cultural theory, like thinking about ways that we can think outside of like economic paradigms that exist right now. Because people like I feel like in general like I'd say that economics is like one of the most like orthodox disciplines. Like it's so just in its like head with like what you're allowed to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah.
And then but it's also so absurd because it's one of the most nonsense disciplines. Like it literally just finds patterns in things, and that's all it is.
Mm.
Yeah, like
And
it's
the things
supposed
it's
to
trying
be
to find
science,
patterns in are too much. Yeah.
but it's not. exactly scientific.
So he's a great economist in that way because he's like an anti-economist, right? Like he's kind of opposed to all of it. But he's got this great idea in this book that I read called Another Now, which is like, it's kind of interesting. It's sort of going for this like, it's like Candide or something, right? Where it's like he's like writing a story, like it's a fiction, but it has all of these like, I don't know, like commentaries in it or whatever, right?
Like footnotes?
No, not like, what do you call it? Like, it's like polemical, right? It's got like, it's trying to say something.
It's just like a really,
society. It's just like
really loose. Like the story isn't like.
Okay.
sophisticated
it's
or
not like a
anything.
creative story. It's just like the story is a
more for the
framing
message.
device for ideas,
Yeah.
basically, right?
It's just like an analogy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like he's going for like a Plato vibe. Like he thinks he's like a modern Plato.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, you have a dialogue where it's like some dudes walking a park or something.
Yeah.
But it's just to make a point, right? But as part of it, he's got this really
Oh, like a
interesting
parable
idea.
type stuff.
Yeah, kind of
Okay,
parable.
got you.
But it's like a whole like novel.
Yeah.
He has this like awesome idea.
That's like the
of,
Bible.
like-
Sorry.
Yeah, but like I
messed
don't mean
up.
but it's like this thing where this guy like comes up with this new kind of technology that it's like designed to just work out exactly what you want, and then it puts you into a virtual world that's like total pleasure, and you can either go there or like not go there. So you can choose to like use this like kind of Oculus Rift thing and you know, whatever, and like enter the metaverse of like this world that makes you feel like all of the best possible like hedonistic pleasures. And so like the thought experiment, right, in this book is like, would people want to take that red pill of like putting it on and like entering that world?
Pure pleasure.
I suppose I should say the blue pill because that's
Yeah,
the Matrix,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the fake world.
Yeah. So the blue pill.
But it's like, would you want to take the thing, or would you want to just stay in like reality? I suppose in a way it's kind of an inverted Matrix. It's like rather than leaving the Matrix, it's like, do you want to enter the Matrix?
Yeah,
where it's like perfect.
I guess that's kind of like
but it's like a good Matrix.
like modern social media and the internet.
Yeah.
Because you have the like fundamentally you do have the choice to like immerse yourself in it, even though it is like harder with the fact that like, you know, if you like work like a job, you need like be accessible by like text messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
But, yeah.
it can ultimately be a choice.
But the point though that is being made by the text is the idea is that like, if you presented this choice to most people, the actual function of this invention, like the reason this guy invented this machine that's like perfect pleasure, artificial reality thing, is that if you were given the choice to either do it or not, he thinks that most people would choose to not to do it, because there's something about life that like isn't just about like happiness or pleasure. It's like there's something kind of ineffable that's like beyond
Struggle.
that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and I just find that idea so interesting. It's like people aren't actually always motivated by like wanting to be happy or something, and I think that's the thing that TikTok and all that kind of stuff like stirs these desires that like aren't actually yours, and it's like I don't actually like, while I enjoy like scrolling, I
You have the choice between
I
that
don't
and
actually
not.
want to do that.
Yeah,
like
it's like we are
abstracted
terminally
level.
online. Like this
Yeah,
is not
I'm
this
so
is not
online.
us saying we're above it. Like we are like
I'm so like
I feel like
Instagram,
the
whatever.
fundamental flaw of the project as it stands is like how much time we just waste doing the most inane like scroll based activities.
yeah.
But,
I like that. Yeah.
But it's like, and it's part of me thinks that I wanted to do that, but it's like,
Yeah. It's
just
just
not at any level yet.
got you. Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I
No.
forget what we were saying before that. It was like
Something.
before Giannis. I don't know.
Yeah. The Giannis machine.
The Giannis.
I'm gonna hit the Giannis button.
He's really cool though. Yeah.
shout out Jan.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
They're still alive.
Yeah, he's like 40s, maybe 50s.
He's like this
yeah.
like super handsome like Greek dude who's
Yeah,
just like
chiseled.
apparently he's like
His
his
wife.
wife is the song, you know, the pulp song Common People.
No.
It's like do you wanna live like common people? Yeah. Apparently that is about his wife. It's just the biggest like small world thing.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what?
yeah.
It's like, you know, you just learn these things and you're like,
that was like a,
Because they're all
like a
uni at
hit
the same
song in
time
like
or
the
something.
90s.
Okay,
So
there
it's
you go.
it's like a
really-
big like
yeah.
90s Brit pop kind of tune, whatever.
Got you.
But
We'll have that choice soon.
to
Enter into a
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, like, but these things are getting like so remarkably good, like just with how much they make you want to keep your
Yeah.
attention on one thing and whatever.
But also, I don't want to be like Grandpa Simpson and be like yelling at a cloud, you know?
Yeah.
I want,
No, but that's-
But it's
I wanna be-
inevitable,
I wanna
isn't
be
it?
But I
part of
think
the
that's
new.
almost like, I think it's people like make it cringe to even this chat. It's been done 1,000 times.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Talking about social media is like lame or whatever.
It's like the classic podcast chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like, I think it's like lame to kind of make it out to be cringe, because it's like, no, this actually is like an important
Yeah.
thing to think about.
Cringe is
isn't it?
fake anyway, bro.
I know, true.
Yeah.
The cringe based spectrum
Yeah.
is just
Yeah.
It's all an illusion. It's not real.
Yeah. That's what I did. Like, I went through a whole period of just like when you
What's a
prob-
horseshoe?
probably
It's bullshit,
yeah, legit.
Yeah.
Probably you guys had it as well. Like when you just hear your voice back, it's like yeah.
Yeah.
But then you just get used to
You,
it.
like,
You
yeah.
can also just ignore it. I think that's the thing too. Like, you know how sometimes like
Kill the part of you that cringes.
yeah, or like you know how like sometimes you feel best if you just like don't look in a mirror that day or something. Not that I like looking in the mirror sometimes, but like I mean most of the
Oh, yeah.
time you kind of just like sometimes if you just forget the way that you
That whole thing that like the mirror marks the downfall of society, because like pre-mirror you'd have to like go to like a body of water and you'd have to like,
It's like a bit of effort.
you'd
You
humble
gotta, like, put
yourself,
some
you'd
work.
have to like bow down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's no way to get like a reflection that like kind of like made you arrogant.
Yeah.
That's just like some like
I don't
bullshit
know,
social theory for like
some
people
Some
on the
Amish
internet.
shit.
They're like,
I fuck with that though.
yeah,
I'll
the mirror,
subscribe to
man, the mirror.
that. Yeah.
And because there's that painting from like the Renaissance of like the rich like banker couple, and they've got like their mirror in front of them flexing that they own a mirror. So
they're
like people
able
like
to perceive themselves.
yeah, people like talk about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is,
These
But
are
I
all
mean,
these are all
total
like
nonsense.
yeah, but it's all interesting stuff that you can, you know, form into an idea, whether it's a lyric or a video
know, yeah.
subject or a talking point or
That is actually one I will say, like consciously I think we've tried to shift all of our music to be like really like socially symbolic. Like I think like if you like ask someone who like knew like Melbourne bands and knew of us, they probably wouldn't like initially say like, oh, they're like a really political band. But I think that we've consciously tried to make every song have a like viable political reading. I suppose all music has a viable political reading, but it's just like our current wave
It's hard
is
to
to
talk
like
about your own music like
yeah,
but-
it's like weird to talk about it ourselves, but I think like
yeah.
it's like that whole like thing of it being true, or just like when it like sounds like it could be read as like a little like political as well as like a love song.
Yeah.
It's
I
always
think-
like the best.
yeah,
Yeah.
a bit of ambiguity. Yeah.
It's like what we were saying, like just all this stuff about social media and stuff. I think what it really reflects is like we're quite like in terms of I guess this is like kind of what we want to talk about maybe I don't know. But it's like we're very kind of anxious of like all these ways that our lives are like control, you know, it's like thinking about the TV thing or being raised by like ads and stuff. For some reason I just like personally find that so like scary and like weird, and I think it's like because of that anxiety to do with like being under, you know,
Scrutiny
control
all the
of
time.
like these different forces that are kind of beyond and like you don't really understand. It's like we make a lot of choices in our music that's always like, well, is this like actually true? Is this us? Or is this
I understand it a bit more.
Yeah.
something that is like we're doing only because like we think that you're supposed to do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah,
in
yeah.
a way that's not just like
So you're saying
How
you're
people
viewing
perceive
it,
you.
trying to view your product outside or your creation outside of the, I don't know, construction of the external things.
well, I just think no one. I don't know. I guess it sounds kind of paranoid or something, but it's like no
Bro,
one
but
wants
it's
to.
it's facts.
Yeah, but I mean, like, no one wants to ever feel like their choices aren't theirs. Like,
Yeah,
you're doing
yeah,
things
exactly.
And I think so many things that you see these days are, and like this is why I'm so interested in things like psychoanalysis and stuff, because like so much of what we do is the manipulation of our desires.
Environment,
And yeah, but like of what we want. So we don't, you know, like the desires that we have are like not ours, and it's like we're just told like this is what you want. Like you want to go to like QV and like shop for like little, I don't know, like
That'd be pretty
just
cool.
dumb shit, yeah.
Very violent.
Yeah, now that I think about
But
it.
it's like I don't know. It's just like even walking around a city or using the internet, it's all the same thing, right? Of just like you're confronted with all of these like
Stimulus.
these
yeah.
things,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like your shirt, like the Obey, They Live.
Yeah,
thing, Where it's like you, I don't know, like it's not like we have those glasses like fully on, but like I don't know. I like to feel like I've got those glasses on where I'm seeing the fact that like it actually says Obey, and it's, you know.
I think to
Um,
like boil
or at
it,
least there's an anxiety about that,
To like
I don't
boil
know.
it down to like what we do in the music, there's like a lot of virtue in like musical tradition and stuff. But once those traditions become like the template that like people just start doing without really thinking about it, we like try to like distance ourselves from that. Not really sure why.
But we
It
still
feels
definitely do it
wrong.
sometimes but it's just like things that we
Yeah.
listen to. Like we'll still do like Beatles pop songs, right?
Oh yeah,
That's what
yeah,
we-
yeah.
But it's like
it's just like
yeah.
like a good example is the song you mentioned before, Bruise. If we hadn't have like added like the vocal samples and like fucked with like the voice, it kind of would have just been a really
Yeah, grungy, like
really
weird
grunt, like
alt
not
rock
not
song
bad
from
or
the
anything, but
90s,
it could have been like, oh, did this come out in the 90s or now? But we're kind of, I don't like the idea that you can't like, it's weird like because people call like music like dated all the time, but I don't like I don't like the idea of like our songs being like, oh, that came out in the 90s, or like that came out in the 70s.
Make timeless pieces,
I want something to both be timeless but also be like representative of the now and the future.
I think there's
but we make rock music,
like,
so
yeah,
like,
you know
it's
how
kind of pointless.
Because it's like sometimes there's like the point of like don't make a cultural reference in your songs because it's like it'll kind of age badly. So I don't know, like I feel like there's a line.
It's
like,
about the right cultural reference. I guess
it's more about kind of like avoiding it being this particular kind of music that doesn't really exist in any future facing way. It only just thinks about the detritus of like past stuff
like Taylor Swift's 1989 is actually like it's like a pretty good vessel of like the 2010s, but the album, what was the name of the album that came out afterwards, the Rainbow one?
That one was terrible.
No, the one after 1989.
I think the one with like the Kendrick Lamar song with the black and white.
So it was 1989, the one with like the Polaroid, which is like very much like American Apparel, like 2010s and whatnot. Or maybe it was Reputation.
Reputation was the real.
Whatever followed it was like the culture references, like they weren't the right ones. They were kind of like the like Raised by TV and Ads ones that she was making, which like made it like these are two albums that are both trying to like connect with the times. Like 1989 does it really well, like referencing like kind of like, I guess like pure like social.
We're the middle children of history.
Yeah.
We work jobs we hate so that we impress people we don't hate.
It's been a Fight Club podcast.
Yeah.
The follow-up album didn't do it right, so I guess we're trying to make 1989, not Reputation.
I think the point is we're trying to. Like, I don't even know if we are, and I think it's this weird anxiety around. Are we making stuff that's actually true?
So I need to like
structures of what you should.
I need to stress that these are intentions. Like what we actually do is probably like it's hard to say as the artist. So far from it, you probably like what are they even talking about?
Well, like the only reason we try to do it is because it feels more true. Like it's more honest, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's a sincerity to like doing something that
maybe
at least tries
to
resist.
Like the marketed like.
Yeah, maybe this is the target market of anti-establishment, anti-society people. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean we still both have iPhones, so.
That's always the great thought.
Yeah.
It's like that's the Hegel like. The fucking opposite.
Yeah, but you can be both at one time. You can have that position and still participate in it, and it's still fine.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You can say one thing and do the other, and it's
I'm
going
to formally rescind everything I've said in this interview. So everything I've said is now like
not legally binding.
Same, yeah.
And I'm going to say
do the women. Yeah.
I like rock records, man. That's it.
No, legit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fire.
I just like music. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
All the ideas is all crap anyway. So just
yeah, I mean, upon analysis, I feel like it's really enjoyable to go through something that you really cherish as a consumer of music, art, films, whatever, and see this is why this is like this. This is why it was successful. This is why I remember it. But this, like the whole thing, is why I like it. That's fine. I'm gonna just keep the audio, bro.
Because kind of have some trippy like visuals up.
Yeah.
In the interim. It's no video.
Yeah.
No, but it's like that. Even just with us like listening to music, I think a lot of the choices we make when we make music are based off like when we listen to it. We're like, well, what do we like? Well, it's like when things are sincere and feel like they're not victim to expectations of like what serves like like radio play interests or like Spotify algorithmic interests, or it's like I'm not going to listen to music if it's only being given to me because it's like you're supposed to like this because it's like Spotify said so, like
100%,
yeah. But if like John Peel says it's good, it's okay.
yeah. But it's different because
it's good. Yeah, exactly. Like tastemakers. Well, then there's like. But then
I guess
like,
it's radio. It's like whatever.
Then it's like another like just like stupid like neurotic investigation of like also what makes like a tastemaker like compromise and what makes a tastemaker true. It's just
there's
like,
a point where you gotta just tap out and be like, no, I just make music.
Yeah, but it is still like an engine. Like you better be able to take it apart and put it back together and understand how it's constructed for you to construct it in some way. So I feel like it's productive nevertheless to feel like.
I think and like all that thinking is there to be done and it's possible, but it's like sometimes you just can't.
Leave for the fans.
Or like not just I don't know. Yeah.
I think this interview has like kind of mirrored like Bob Dylan's career. So we started the interview the first.
Bro, it's making like analogies.
We started the interview the first like 10 minutes or so, just like talking like traditionally about music. So like his like first album.
Yeah.
Then the middle like period we started like pointing our finger, getting super political. But now that we've gone through what is it an hour of this, I've decided we're just song and dance men. We just play songs for people to dance to.
To enjoy, yes.
That's my last word.
Let's wrap it up. Yeah, beautiful. My parking's about to expire as well. So, very nice to have you boys
Yeah,
on.
thanks
Thank you so much. Appreciate
That
it.
was awesome.
Yeah, man. You
Yeah,
can come
I
again
appreciate
anytime
it.
you want. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
When we have a studio, when we have better mics and shit, you know what I'm saying? When Jai's like
Be
behind a
famous,
computer,
be
like
crazy, yeah.
even
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
like
pull that up.
yeah, Jamie,